Hello, my cross stitch friends. It's Amanda Mae with Ardith Design. Welcome back to my channel where we celebrate all things counted cross stitch, sustainable stitching, and everything in between. Alright, welcome to my channel. Again, my name is Amanda Mae, and this is my 38th episode. 38? Episode of Flosstube or Stitchy Tube or Fiber Tube. And I am excited to talk about my haul from this week. I have a couple Save the Stitches to show you, kind of an update on some craft things that I've done this week, and I'm calling it my Craft with Kids Corner or Crafty Kids Corner. I am following Teresa Kogut's. She's doing a painting a day in April, and she's doing the hashtag a painting a day April 2019, and I feel like I need to join in. I am late to the party, but I have some projects to show you that I've worked on, and we'll be inserting them a little later in the video if you want to stick around. So after I'm all done talking about cross stitch, then we'll talk about the kids crafting corner, Crafty Kids Corner. Oh, and as you see, my hair is starting to grow out. I've got to get a haircut. I am looking borderline disheveled. For all of my new viewers, about 30 weeks ago, or half a year ago now, my head accidentally got shaved thanks to my small child, and my hair is growing out, and we'll see what happens. I'm in between hairstyles at this point. I call it Artist Eclectic, and I'm hoping that the Artist Eclectic makes me look cute and not the artist disheveled look. Anywho, we're gonna talk about haul, kids crafting corner, some of the upcoming things that I'd like to stitch, my new stuff, some ideas for stitching the next couple of weeks, and yeah, everything in between. I'd love it if you stuck around, hung out with me, and we talk about, you know, stitching. Let's get started. I'm thirsty. It started raining out, and I'm ready to drink some more. I want to start this episode with shout outs. I have shout outs. First off, I would like to thank Cheryl from Tranquil Stitches. She is my neighbor, state next door to me, West Virginia. I live about an hour from Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, over yonder, and I found Cheryl's channel after she found me, and I am so grateful for Cheryl. Cheryl has been the first and only person, well, the first person I should say, to purchase a yard of my fabric. I can't believe it. Thank you, Cheryl. I custom designed my little Easter egg fabric, and she reached out to me and said that she bought a yard, and I was so flabbergasted. You're the first one. Wow. So I want to thank Cheryl, artists supporting artists. She makes project bags, which are impeccable. I'm going to link her channel below. Please go check her out and give her some love. Her bags are phenomenal, and then she has zipper finders, not zipper pulls. Then she does stitchy bingo. She does all the things. I highly recommend her channel. And if you're like most of the world, she like to listen to Southern accents. She's got a beautiful voice and lovely to listen to. If you're not necessarily watching, but you're listening, I highly recommend Cheryl. And again, thank you for supporting me and buying some of my fabric. My next shout out is to Christine of Stitch All the Things. I fangirled her a little hard. That sounds awkward. I I've been watching Christine's videos for a little over a year. She's one of the channels I can watch on Sundays while I'm doing the dishes and stuff, and she makes me laugh, and occasionally she's made me tear up and cry, but I've followed her journey with her son going into the Navy, and it's been lovely to see her stitching journey. And she shouted me out last week on her channel based on the Sulky Thread Stonewash sampler that I had stitched. And again, I'm not affiliated with Sulky Threads in any way other than being a new fan of their 12-weight cotton thread after watching Julie of Gulf Coast Stitcher. She also, shout out to Julie, who did a phenomenal job of explaining 12-weight cotton thread, and of course Kathy Haberman and her Life Needs More Chocolate Bunnies pattern. Apparently, you know, the hoopla erupted over Sulky Thread, and rightfully so. If you like stitching with one strand of floss, I believe you'd enjoy stitching with one strand of thread. Now, Sulky are called thread, not floss, 100% cotton, and my review of it stands. I really enjoyed it. I like that it is color fast, and it is designed, you know, if you're quilters. I mean, I think more art quilts than utilitarian quilts. But I like the idea of stitching with the Sulky in regards to, say you're cross-stitching something for waist canvas like a sweater, and you want to use their variegated, their petite blendables. If you had it on waist canvas, you wouldn't be so nervous about washing it because you wouldn't have to worry about the colors running. The same as Satsuma Street, Jody Rice, phenomenal designer. She just stitched one of her new designs on the back of a denim jacket, which is fantastic. If you're not following Satsuma Street, I highly recommend following her Instagram. Again, if you're stitching, that's just one more option for using a washable thread. In case y'all didn't know, I'll reiterate again, my favorite threads are Gentle Art Sampler and Shaker threads and Victorian Motto Sampler Shop threads, but they're not color fast. And I say that loosely. The Sulky are affordable and color fast, and I like that. Okay, my shout outs, Christine, Julie, everyone, you're all excellent. And if I haven't shouted you out, I might not have gotten to your channel yet. I'm still recovering with small children over daylight savings time. It has taken a long time to adjust, and I feel like we're finally getting back into the rhythm. Again, I can listen to Flosstube on my television. I can put on my wireless, like Bluetooth headphones, and I actually mount my iPad against my window, and I can watch Flosstube from my iPad, listen on my headphones, and do the dishes. And that has been really awesome because I feel like this community really helps to keep company. As someone who works from home and I have small children and I'm home a lot, it can be really isolating, and it's really nice to have that community to give that metaphorical consensual hug. I really appreciate and honor that. I know that a lot of us have had hardships over the last couple of years. I bawled my eyes out watching the Night Owl Stitcher Yvonne and her latest video. But you all, whether you're commenting, not commenting, but participating in this Flosstube community, know that you matter and that you bring joy, warmth, comfort, and company to us. And that is important. Okay, I'm gonna move on from shoutouts. Okay, I have some good news. I released a new book. I released a brand new book. called May Stitching Starts, 31 days of cross stitching where you can plan, sort, and organize your cross stitch patterns and charts for the month of May. I, again, self-published it, and there was a few little hiccups as far as my rollout release for the book. It is currently available in the UK, and thank you, Great Britain, United Kingdom, but it's not quite showing up as of Monday. Oh yeah, by the way, today's Monday. It's not showing up on the US.com yet. So fingers crossed it shows up soon so all of you can start planning and working on your May stitching starts. And I'm going to insert a photo of what the book looks like here. That's my new book. It's 100 pages, and I made it the same size as a lot of my other notebooks, the 8.5 by 11. Of course, as I go to look for my books, where did I go? Here, I'm grabbing a book. I'm hoping not to. Oh. Okay, sorry. Here's one of my books, the 8.5 by 11 and 100 pages. And what that means, 100 pages double-sided. So it's 50 sheets, but, you know, side and side. And there's enough room for you to put your organizing for 31 starts. And I so appreciate everybody's feedback on my Needleworker's Notebook. And many of you have said that it's lovely, but there isn't enough room for notes if you're counting your stitches for like the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, if you're counting your stitches or you have a large piece with a lot of floss colors, that there was not enough room to write all of that down. So I included a lot more lined blank pages for you to take notes. I also included my 60 by 90 grid graph paper. There's 9 or 10 sheets in there. So if you are doing custom lettering or modifying a chart, you know, with your last name, changing it, or your baby samplers or the wedding samplers, like the Barbara Anna, oh my gosh, her wedding sampler, a couple have stitched it and it's showing up on Instagram and I'm like drooling, gorgeous. So if you're modifying the words, I know a lot of people are working on A Savior's Praise right now by Shakespeare's Peddler. If you're modifying the name, if you need that space to rechart out, or if you want to just design your own stuff, it's there, right? And because I felt like that wasn't enough, I needed to add a full coverage whimsical art piece in the back as well. And so I did that. Another feedback I got from my Needleworker's Notebook was that the chart, while lovely, was kind of, which I spent a lot of time drawing and stitching and formatting that. But I think a lot of people didn't really want to do lettering. They wanted to actually stitch my artwork. And the mermaid on the cover of Needleworker's Notebook, in hindsight, that should have been my pattern inside the notebook. Hindsight is 2020. Moving forward, my new book, May Stitching Starts, the cover art is the full coverage pattern for you to stitch. If you would like. And it's 39 colors, and it's charted 133 by 180, 39 colors, and it has kind of 39 colors, so it's not as intricate. It doesn't have max colors, obviously not 250 colors, but it's a smaller piece. And I think it's fun, and you guessed it, it's bright and rainbowy and all of the things. I also included a calendar in there so there's a blank calendar for May where you can plan out each day what you're going to be stitching. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what to stitch on this day, I also included some keywords for like the unofficial US national holiday stuff, like the National Devil's Food Cake Day, and you know, what color do you want to stitch on today? Blue or chartreuse or violet? So all the days have different kind of themes and prompts that if you're totally stuck, say you don't want to start a new piece, you want to stitch from stash, you just want to pull something out, those are just little prompts to help you if you're stitching in the month of May. Yeah, so calendar stuff. And I included, of course, for May, there's Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, which I put down for Mexican samplers, Mexican motifs or designers. And in the back of my mind, I thought, well, May 5th, we could stitch something by Barbara Anna, or a Mexican band sampler, the vibrant, bright colors. If any of you are interested, the Museum of Modern Art, the Met in New York has a lovely collection of Mexican band samplers, and they're vibrant, bright colors, and they're just amazing. So May 5th, Cinco de Mayo in the United States, and then May 4th, we can't forget about May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And that is the unofficial Star Wars holiday. So stitch on something, obviously, you know, space and travel and planets, or, you know. I know Sarah King just finished her Stargate sampler, and it was so cool. I love Stargate. That was my first ever fandom into sci-fi before I got into Doctor Who and Firefly and everything else. Stargate was my entry point into science fiction stuff. Okay, I digress. All right. May 4th is a Saturday. It is the unofficial Star Wars holiday. It is also the day of the Kentucky Derby, which is celebrated, and it's typically celebrated with fun fascinators or big hats, mint juleps, lots of gambling. But aside from that, there's also like horses, right? So I started thinking, what do I have in my stash that's horse related? Maybe on May 4th, if you're not stitching something science fiction or space or NASA or time travel or, you know, the holographic universe, because we all need to be doing advanced statistics in our stitching. Sorry, too much Big Bang Theory. Okay. I have some really fun horse designs, and look at this one. Isn't that fun? And they have all the different the barrel racing, the horse here, the jumping, the different types of horse, the hunting, fox. And so there's that, and this one is by the Pegasus Originals out of South Carolina. Stephanie Seabrook, Hedgepath. I also found, and I loved this sampler, Country Stitch. I really liked it stitched on blue and with the white, and I love that. I think that's so pretty. The next horse I found in the Just Cross Stitch from 1990. And look at this sampler with the flowers on the butterfly. Okay, is a whole section on horse and like hunting. And I really liked, and I gotta find it here, the manor. There's the castle here. That's a tiny little picture with the lions. I thought that was really fun. But there's a really cool, where'd it go? Of course, as I'm live television, oh, there it is. I can't find it. Here it is. I really thought this one was really, really sweet. I mean, as a small, I liked I just really like it. And look, there's a house. I could stitch a house. I mean, all the things, right? The next thing is by D. Morgan, Moments to Remember, and I didn't see any horses on this, but there's farm. And what's on farms typically with red barns? Horses, you know? I'm thinking. All right, I got these pattern books this week, and I was overjoyed to find these magazines. Are you ready for this? Okay. I got this vintage magazine, and I loved the apron on the doll. I thought it was so cute. It's called like Amelia's doll apron. Yep. And then I liked this seashore theme with the seashells. Who doesn't love a good seashell? The next one I found, y'all know my proclivity towards the carrots this year. I'm all about the carrots. Well, look at the little bunny in her little Ada dress with the little carrots. So this Country Stitch, it actually shows you how to make the full bunny. I don't have time for that. But something tells me I will be making doll clothes for the children sooner rather than later. Not that that's a bad thing. I just, you know, I gotta learn. Another thing for me to learn. I also got this one, and look at those little bunnies. And this is on the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. I loved the bright colors and the bunnies. There was 2 different patterns I marked here. Yes. Oh, and I love, look at these Easter egg ornaments. So cute. The pattern is only for this one here. These were all the contest winners, but this is the only pattern that they have in the magazine. And just like the little beaded petite purses. I thought of Country Stitchers, Deb and Liz, Liz and her beadwork that she does. And oh yes, another shout out to Country Stitchers for making me aware of the Loudon Sampler Guild in Northern Virginia. I didn't know. So thank you so much for spreading your knowledge of needlework. And I reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet, but you know, we're all busy, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Can't resist a good watermelon. And really interesting component of American history. Fun fact, watermelons in the United States were so prized, and they grow, I mean, they take up a lot of space. Melons are a trailing varietal vegetable, take up a lot of room, but they were so prized before the 20th century that they would often get stolen out of the fields. And so the farmers who planted them, who, you know, never got a chance to actually eat their watermelons because they would get stolen. Many farmers started poisoning like certain melons in their field to deter people from stealing the watermelons. So if you ate it, you would die or like get really sick. Unfortunately, sometimes farmers would forget which melon they poisoned, and then it would lead to the demise of the entire family. American agriculture is so important and influential, and interesting thing too, rice was brought over from Africa, and rice production in the United States actually started in the Carolinas and in the southern parts of the United States, and not as many people assume, like the most of the rice production these days is in California, and most of it is exported. We export most of our rice like to Japan and all over the world, right? California rice is the rice. But it actually started, due to the slave trade, it started in the southern United States. So when you think of southern cooking, there's rich, rich history to it. And when you're stitching food, just remember that it's not just food. You're part of history. Okay. That was a tangent, but watermelons, right? Okay. This pattern, I was cracking up. Look at her. I have to tell you, I will never stitch this, but I saw this and it fell into my cart. I could not help myself. Look at her. What I like about this pattern is that they integrate the shadow, and look at that leg. Hello. So I've never seen this before. It is The Maids of Time, The Garden Dreamer from 1985 by Cross My Heart. And the last magazine that I got this week that I am so excited about is the companion piece. Do you see that? It's the companion piece to my Gathering Honey pattern that I have not worked on. I will get there. Look at this rose garden piece. I love it. I love it so much. I have not seen this in real life, but I love the octagonal center garden. And I've been working out in my garden a lot, which again, at the end of the show, I will show you my crafting with kids and show you what I've been up to this week. But I am just tickled pink to have this companion piece to the Gathering Honey piece. I want to show you all the things and I'm like running out of time. Yes. Oh wait, I got more books to show everyone. Look, okay, look at this. I have more books to show you. So next week, these books, I think it's a date. It's gonna be my 39th episode. 30. So we'll wait. We'll wait on those books. Okay. Oh, I want to do a shout out to Priscilla and Chelsea and all of their amazing crafty finishes. And last year I had purchased this truck from, they were doing the Bless Our Home Stitch Along, or Bless This House Stitch Along. And they said, hey, this truck is available at Big Lots. So as I normally do, they are one of the key influencers in the cross stitch community. They said, go get it. And I said, yes, ma'am. And promptly got in my vehicle the day I watched their Flosstube episode last year and bought my truck. Fast forward to this past weekend, I went to Big Lots and the trucks are back in stock. So check your local Big Lots if you wanted to finish your piece like Priscilla did with the daisies and everything. This piece is at Big Lots right now. Potentially, hopefully, in your area. Okay. All right, let's move on to things that I want to stitch. I went through some more of my patterns and I have decided that it is decidedly so that I am going to stitch this year. I love it. There is a series of Prairie Schoolers, the fairies, the 4 fairies. I love them. I only have this one pattern, but that's okay. I don't need any more until I finish one, right? I'm in the accumulation phase of my life. So if it's meant to be, the remaining ones will come to me at some point in my life. So I need to stitch this Prairie Schooler. I love it. I love the mythology behind it. This is the original postcard one from 1994. It's been in my stash since last year and I wondered where I put it and I found it. And I wanted to say out loud to my Flosstube friends that I want to stitch that piece. The next one, I don't remember if I showed this to you last year. This has been in my 2-stitch pile. It's by Elizabeth's Garden. And this is she was a Maryland designer out of Hagerstown, which is going towards Pennsylvania. And I really like this bird, and it has that kind of fractal folk art look to it, and I really like it. And it's got the initials HRP 1803. And I really liked it. Had the kind of that penny rug, the round, and I love the finishing frame. And it even looks like it's displayed inside either latch hook or punch needle. Gorgeous. And the final thing that I have on my 2-stitch list is, you know, this pattern is is pre, 2015 because it's got the original picture. And look at that little house and the shepherd. And look at him. Isn't he so cute out in his field? What's the pun? He's outstanding in his field. Literally outstanding in his field. I cracked myself up. Sorry. I really liked it. The grass is greener. Sheepish designs are so cute. Again, those are my 3 patterns on my 2-stitch list. All right. Let's do Save the Stitches. Okay. I got this piece this week. It is not cross stitch. It is, well, I picked it up. I did not know what it was, and I was going to defer to all of you wonderful friends what this was. And I went up to the register, and the lady goes, "Do you know what that is?" I was like, "Truthfully, I don't know." She goes, "You're going to buy something that you don't know what it is?" I said, yes, I am. She proceeds to pull this, as I released it. Anyway, this ribbon, I didn't realize it goes around here and you pull it tight. And she said you put it in a bread basket and then each little warm roll fits right in here. This is gathered taut by the ribbon. And then you have your rolls ready for dinner. How cute is that? But I also thought, I wonder if it would work. So I put it in the basket, if it would work for like fresh eggs or something. Because fresh eggs, if you don't wash off the stuff, you don't have to refrigerate it. Which, United States, we're afraid of germs. We wash everything. But if you have fresh eggs and you're not washing them, I guess you can put them on. So I don't know, let me just throw everything around there. Okay. Oh. So I got that piece not knowing what it was. I was told it's a hot roll holder and it's lovely on pink linen with a crocheted edge, and it feels like it almost feels like an acrylic, which makes sense since this is made to be washed. So if you're putting food items on it, I would assume you want it to be washable. Acrylic or like a polyester, it doesn't feel, it feels synthetic. So fun. Oh, and these little rings, I have been researching where to find these because a lot of the advent calendars use these same rings. So I've been on the lookout for those. All right, the next and final Save the Stitches for this week is a needlepoint piece that I got. I love it. Look at those boats. Well, they say a boat, the acronym is about another 1,000. I don't know. I love boats. I love boats. And if I could afford a boat, maybe I'd have a boat. But look at those houses. I just love it. Again, this is needlepoint. It is rather dusty and I would need to vacuum it, but it doesn't, I wouldn't remove it from the frame. So the needlepoint, it's all wool fiber, which again, I don't touch. And the back, I want to show that this is a quintessential thrift store find. Are you ready? It's got my thrift store price tag on it. But before they throw things away like this, as this would have been thrown away, they open the back of it to make sure that the person who did this didn't put cash in the back. All handmade stuff. At this one thrift store, they rip the backs out of to make sure people aren't hiding the money in there. And then they take the money. There you go. So that is my Save the Stitches for this week. I love it. I don't know where I want to hang it because my house, like I've said before, I have the thrift store eclectic look. It is a combination of early American spindles and mid-century modern. But I don't want to put needlepoint in a bathroom because you have a moisture issue with this. You don't want to put it near sun because, well, sun, UV rays. I don't know where this piece is going to go yet. I may or may not be running out of wall space in my home, so that's another thing I have to start thinking about. If you've hung out with me thus far, if you want to stick around, let's do the crafting with kids. You ready? The adage, be careful what you wish for, I am going to say right now. I didn't get, my kids got a promotional calendar from one of the Chinese food buffets here. And here in America, we love our buffets. Let me just say, I love buffets. So my kids got this calendar for 2019. And they love this calendar. So, of course, I had to put it up for them, right? Well, it's starting to grow on me, especially, you know, since last year my Raji pug passed away, and I'm without my puppies, and so it's been nice to have, you know, little puppies and stuff to look at. Well, as many of you might remember, last month I was making fun of, I shouldn't say making fun of because that has a negative connotation. I was talking about a dog mat frame, the cross stitch piece that I had purchased that was behind glass with the frame, with the little puppy dog bones and all of that mat. Well, it has now graduated from being a frame with a dog with eyes that follow you to the January cover from the promotional buffet calendar. And this is now in my formal dining room for all of us to see. I had started painting the frame when I had originally thought about my Barbara Anna finish here on the cheese board. I had used a lime green paint, and I was going to do the Kathy Haberman thing where I put the fabric, attach it to the foam core board, take the glass out, and then use one of the clips, and then have the you know, the Kathy Haberman, her iconic like Jim Holtz clip board thing, her finishes. So that was my thought. That's what I was gonna do. Well, I didn't get to actually flushing this idea out and painting it better. So it is lime green like the grass with the mat, because my kids now, this mat is the cat's pajamas, the dog's tuxedo, everything in between. This mat is gold in my house. Who made that?
Yeah, who made
Well, I don't know, that we just found it today, didn't we? Do you want to tell me what's on it?
It's bones.
Okay.
And footprints.
And footprints. And now this calendar piece with the corresponding mat is front and center in my formal dining room. Crafting with kids. All right. My next crafting with kids. We got this for $1. $1. They were about to throw it away because nobody wanted to buy it, but my kids wanted it. So for $1, we got a custom acrylic dog art piece. He looks sad, but it wouldn't have been worse if he had been thrown away. So I have, I have a painting that my kids really like, crafting with kids. And finally, I will insert a photo of what we did this weekend. We were out in the yard. I worked for hours and hours and hours. I officially have the, why didn't I put on more sunscreen tan? And we did some yard art, and I repurposed a pool sand filter into yard art, and I will insert the photos here. Okay, here is my earth globe that I attempted to paint based on a look of the earth. And there's the North Pole and all of the things. This is a upcycled container that you use to filter out pools with. It's called a sand filter. And this was going to be thrown away or recycled, and I said, oh, can't we turn it into yard art? Isn't that cool? I used spray paint. We had to go on a custom mission for the spray paint that you use specifically on plastic. We washed it down, spray painted it. Yes, I know that I don't have a future in street art because my graffiti skills are sorely lacking, but craft with kids and they love it. We are thinking about making a solar system. We originally talked about doing the joke is that we were gonna make it all red for the big red ball, like at Target has a big red balls that my kids love. And so I said, well, we'll make a big red ball just like the store, your favorite store. No, that went out the window. They said planet Earth, let's do it. And now they want the solar system. And then I'm thinking about how I can make a rocket lawn art and utility box covers. Here in the United States, we have so many utility box things, like the phone box stuff, and then the cable box, and then the electrical transformers, like utility stuff everywhere. Infrastructure obviously is key in first world, we have infrastructure. However, it's not necessarily the prettiest. And so thinking of ways to cover them up and integrate the planets, rockets, maybe the International Space Station, repurposed art, sustainable stuff, sustainable materials, and hopefully not be the laughing stock of the neighborhood with my poorly executed spray paint art. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that you have a beautiful stitching week. As always, I would love it if you wanted to like, subscribe, comment. You can always message me. I would love it if you wanted to purchase one of my patterns or my books, or if you just want to chat. I appreciate you. Please know that. And thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Take care.